The blackouts are over. What's going on? Nick Kirby here. Welcome to a special edition of Chatterbox Reds. We're going to talk about the Reds TV situation, which took a big turn on Thursday. The Reds, if you remember, they officially ended their relationship with Diamond Sports Group, a.k.a. Bally Sports Ohio, a.k.a. FanDuel Sports Network now. They ended that last week. That left the Reds without a TV deal, as we talked about. Well, on Thursday, the Reds announced that their games will be produced by Major League Baseball starting in 2025, a decision that will leave, I believe, most fans very, very excited going into the new season. We'll break down all of that, everything that you need to know about that move and how you'll be able to watch the games, how it's going to impact you. But before we get to that, as always, Chatterbox Reds is proudly sponsored by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks, as always, to our friends at DSC. All right, so the Reds are joining the Padres, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Guardians, Brewers, and Twins as teams that are going to be producing their games by Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball produced the Padres, Diamondbacks, and Rockies last year. Everyone else will be new in 2025. Diamond Sports Group, that's the official name behind Bally Sports, now FanDuel. They're down to just 6 baseball teams left. The Braves, the Cardinals, the Tigers, the Rays, Angels, and Marlins, down from 19 teams they had 2 years ago. So certainly seems like something that is on the way out for sure, and the Reds probably good time to get out. All right, for the sake of information today, I'm going to be talking to people inside the Reds TV market. For everyone outside the Reds market, nothing's going to change for you. That's the first and most important thing you need to know. You can still watch the Reds via MLBtv or MLB Extra Innings as you previously could. The Reds TV market is much larger than just Greater Cincinnati, if you're not aware. It's all of Ohio outside of the Northeast, the Cleveland, Akron, Canton, and Youngstown areas. It's all of Kentucky, most of Indiana, just everything except for the part that I guess is Greater Chicago, if you call it that. Western West Virginia, the entire state of Tennessee, a small portion of Western North Carolina, and yes, even the very northern part of Mississippi. So the Reds have a very wide TV market, and that's who will be impacted by this move. Everyone that's outside of the TV market is not impacted at all. So if you're watching on YouTube, the graphic that I have, if you're in the red, that's the only area that is going to be impacted by this. If you're outside, it will not be impacted at all. Now, first, let's talk about those who watched the Reds on cable last year. You're not likely going to be impacted at all by this move. The Reds are going to try to work out deals with local cable companies. For example, the Padres last season, they were available on DirecTV, Spectrum, AT&T, and Fubo. They had their own standalone channel on those networks just for those games. Kind of think of it like the Bally alternate channels that would have Blue Jackets games on while the Reds were playing. That's the kind of channel that is dedicated just for these games, or at least has been in the past. The Reds will still do a pre- and post-game show, so really nothing is going to change cable-wise. We'll wait to see how those deals materialize. I can't imagine there's going to be too many bumps there. Most of these companies, they want the Reds. They've been pretty steadfast on that. I don't think that places like YouTube TV and Hulu are probably going to pick up the Reds. They haven't really picked up any other local sports teams that I've noticed across any of the major professional sports. So I don't think that's going to be an option, but we will ultimately wait and see on that. Now, for the cord cutters, the biggest people that are impacted by this, your day is finally here. You will finally be able to purchase a standalone package for the Reds. You would watch the games on the MLB app, which is about as good of an app if you're not aware. It's just really about any app out there. It's available everywhere Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iOS, Android, PlayStation, and Xbox. Now, nothing's been announced yet officially pricing-wise, but going off the Padres, which was the same as the other teams last year. Last season, if you just wanted the Reds, it would be $19.99 a month or $99.99 for the entire season. So, entire season, Reds, $100 if you're inside the Reds TV market. They also offered a MLBtv all teams package that included the Padres, would include the Reds, and then every other team. That was $39.99 a month or $199.99 for the year. So if you want the entire, every team, $200, no blackouts for you. Now, one important note that I found, if everything from the Padres package remains the same, if you are just a regular MLBtv subscriber and you do not subscribe to either the Reds TV standalone package or the Reds package that will be offered with MLBtv together as a bundle, you will not have access in the Reds market. That will only work outside the Reds market. And why is there some difference here? Well, the regular MLBtv price last year was only $140. So they are charging $60 more if you are inside the market and want all of the teams. So it will be important if you're buying MLBtv next year that you make sure that you purchase the official Reds package that they offer. Now, this also leads me to believe that the free MLBtv that's offered every year by T-Mobile probably is not going to work for the Reds in market. I'm speculating here, but I think the only way to take advantage of that would probably be to have two MLBtv accounts, one just for the Reds at that $100 a year price, and then the free package. But then you'd probably have to switch between accounts. So that would probably be a real pain when you wanted to switch games. But that's something to monitor. We'll kind of try to follow that as we get closer. But I don't think, if I'm reading everything correctly, that T-Mobile standalone deal is going to work for the Reds in market next season. We also want to remind you that you can call or text 988 anytime, day or night. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. Whether it's an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between, it's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay. Now, one really cool thing, if you're someone who's not going to subscribe to this, is you are now going to be able to take advantage of a lot of free trials, free games of the day throughout the entire year. Kind of looking back, it looks like last year MLB had a free first 7 days of the year. They had some select weekends. I think they had like Easter weekend was free. I think Mother's Day weekend might have been free, things like that. And then they always have one free game of the day that kind of rotates. Last year, if you were inside the Reds TV market, you could not watch the Reds if they were the free game of the day. That will no longer be the case. So even people who aren't going to pay the $20 a month or the $100 per year package, you're still going to probably be able to get access to quite a few games, really, throughout the year if you strategically make sure you're able to watch the games that are available for you. One other big kind of note here. So John Sadek, Chris Welsh, and Andy Sabo, they were employees of Diamond Sports, FanDuel, Bally, all of that. So it's not a 100% guarantee that they will return, although it looks like every team last year that moved to MLB kept pretty much their entire broadcasting crew. So I don't see any reason to believe that they won't return, but that is not a guarantee. There is a pretty big distinguish, though, from Jim Day, Tommy Thrall, and Jeff Brantley, as they are all Reds employees, so they are not impacted at all on this, other than maybe Brantley doing some TV games. Maybe there's some changes with that, but he's still a Reds employee, and it's not impacted at all. It's unclear where Larkin kind of stands in all this, as Barry Larkin, in addition to being the Reds' home TV color analyst, also just finished his 8th season in the Reds front office. Last year, he was a senior advisor to the business and baseball operations. So assuming Barry Larkin's kind of still an employee, but I don't exactly know how he worked, and there wasn't really any clarification on that. Now, one thing I'm really excited about is the graphics package. I think there's quite a big leap. I did not at all like Bally's score bug or anything like that. MLB promises Reds fans an enhanced viewing experience. Local games produced by MLB will include special features normally associated with nationally televised game, according to the Reds release. That includes an ump cam, live look-ins to the MLB Replay Operations Center, wire cam, on-field locations for pregame and postgame, and increased access like in-game interviews with players, according to that announcement. So I think the graphics are going to be quite a big upgrade. If you watched a game that was a official MLB network game, it's going to have that same package, and I think it looks really good. And so presentation-wise, I think this will be pretty big improvement. Now, one other note here from the announcement, it says Cincinnati's games will be able to reach approximately 13.5 million homes across 7 states in their region, compared to just an average 1.1 million on Diamond's regional sports network, according to the announcement. So yes, there's going to be a lot more people that have access, which is great. I think that number might be a little bit inflated and somewhat misleading, because the 13.5 million don't exactly just have access to it. They have to go purchase a package for this, or get a cable package or something. So yes, while there are going to be more available, that number is probably a little bit misleading. But overall, I think this is a very good thing for the Reds, and I think this is the way forward. And at some point, this was going to happen. Now, a big question that I think is going to be asked is, how is this going to impact the Reds and their spending this offseason? I think the Reds are probably taking somewhat of a hit here. I know MLB has kind of promised to pay back somewhat of the money that was lost. Now that there's 6 teams in the fold, does that money start to kind of whittle away? I don't know the full answer to that. But again, this was something that the Reds were going to probably have to do at some point. It's going to be great for the fans. So I think long-term, this is a wonderful thing. Short-term, could it maybe hurt the Reds? Maybe a little bit, but I think this is maybe the difference of signing one $15 million, $20 million player, which, yes, that would be nice, but it's probably not going to make the Reds a playoff team versus a non-playoff team or anything like that. Well, thanks so much for watching today's video. Hopefully able to give you some good insight into a big day for the Reds. Been a lot of Reds news here. It's only November 15th as I'm recording this. A lot of Reds news so far this offseason. We'll continue to track it all here on Chatterbox. Reds will be live anytime any news breaks, any big news breaks, and continue to provide some insight into some things that are happening. Next week, we have some big deadlines with the Rule 5 protection and the non-tender deadline coming up, so we'll continue to cover that. Then the winter meetings here in a couple weeks, we'll really cover that quite a bit. If you're watching on YouTube, please like the video. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you're listening on podcast form, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you could leave us a 5-star review, we would really appreciate that. I want to quickly tell you about some of our other programming here at Chatterbox Sports. We have Off the Bench, 10 a.m. to noon, Chatterbox Sports on YouTube. The guys talk all things Cincinnati sports. So be sure to check that out, 10 a.m. to noon. Also available everywhere you get podcasts. Really great listen each day for your drive home. Chatterbox Bengals continues to grow. 15,000 people watching one of their recent streams. They have a new episode that they recorded on Thursday night that's on YouTube, talking about the Bengals matchup against the Chargers. And then on Sunday Night Football, Jacob Tissett will be live during the entire Bengals versus Chargers game. Really kind of a fun place to watch a Bengals game if you're a Bengals fan, interact with people in the chat. And Jacob is an incredible football mind, does a really, really good job kind of breaking down the game and giving you some fun insight. So be sure to check that out. And also Chatterbox Bearcats, those guys, they're going hard right now with the football and basketball season both underway. They'll be live on Friday night after UC Hoops takes on Nichols. And then on Saturday night, they'll be live after UC takes on Iowa State in football. So be sure to check that out. Well, thank you so much for listening today. Hope that if you're listening to this on its release day on Friday, hopefully you have a great weekend. And we will talk again soon. But always and most importantly, go Reds.